What's poppin', mi gente? It's your boy back with another video. Now, I woke up this morning, rolled out of bed, scratched myself, put on the computer, and decided to check out my Patreon page. I tend to check this every couple of days or so. I don't want to check it every day and be staring at the counter to see what the patrons are at and the donations are at. But I also want to check it more than enough to make sure that I'm not missing anybody's questions or leaving anybody waiting for an extended period of time. So, I log in this morning, I look at my page, and what do I see here? I have how many patrons? Huh! And I see this, and I was just automatically like,
Hail the conquering hero!
I mean, this is straight up a hell of a milestone for me. And I say this because it's been fluctuating from about 44 to about 48 for the last 3 months or so. Up and down, back and forth like a yo-yo. And yes, I know there's some other people out there, they probably have like 2,000, 3,000 supporters, and they're like, 50 supporters. Is that it? God. But you know, in my case, I mean, straight out, I'm really surprised that I have this many. Truth be told, I expect this to be a thing where I was going to have 10, 15, maybe 20 after a couple of months. But for me to hit 50 this soon, and I haven't even put the demo out yet, just tells me there's a lot of interest in what I'm doing here. And that really helps to motivate me. So first up, let me start by giving a quick shout out to all the PayPal supporters that have supported me over the years and the past couple of months. I really appreciate you guys. But this one, it's going to be all about those patrons. You Patreon supporters are the ones that make this project a reality. You guys are the ones providing the funding that let me create new sprites, have new art done, have new conceptual information drawn up for me, sound effects created, etc, etc, and I really appreciate all your support. Right now the focus is spriting because I want to get all of those out of the way. I definitely want to get a demo out in the next few months or so, next 2 or 3 months. And the way things are looking, it is going to be a demo of the prologue with Richter in it versus the Dracula Part 1 and 2 fight, which it won't be the same as the one I released years ago. There are going to be some differences made to it to make it a little quicker, a little more exciting, etc. As well as show off a couple of new sprites and effects that are put into the game, along with some control modifications that are designed to make the gameplay a lot quicker. I did initially want to release it with the Graveyard and Town completed, but the fact is, right now those aren't done yet, and I don't want to put out a half-made product, and I also don't want to delay the demo. Now, with that being said, I also want to include something so you can try Alucard in his different forms. So I'm going to include a couple of arena challenges where you get to use Alucard in his full form, or with his full move set, or I should say, where you'll get to use Alucard with most of his moves. I'm not going to unlock everything and spoil all the surprises of the game. You know, I will unlock one weapon from weapon set 1, one weapon from weapon set 2, and let you try things out. I will let you try things for Bat and Wolf form, some of the sub-weapons, some of the crashes, but not everything because I don't want you to have access to everything right now. That'll take something away from the game when it's finally released. Nonetheless, I want everybody to see what the controls and gameplay are going to be like because seeing is believing. So on that note, let's give out a couple of shout-outs here. First, I want to give shout-outs to 2 particular members who were the first people, I'm talking the first people I ever had on my Patreon page who were absolutely positively fucking crazy enough to become one of my $99 gold tier members. And that would be my boy Eric P, along with my newest crazy ass gold tier member. And yes, I appreciate your generous donations, Hassani69. I also want to give a special shout out to my boy Quince. He has been a double black bag member for months now. This guy has been very generous as well and is one of my top contributors, so I really want to thank you guys in particular for all your support. You know, you guys have been great. I'm going to go down the list of a bunch more of my supporters here. However, I am going to use generally just the first name and the last initial because I don't know if everybody wants their name given out and I respect people's privacy. So first up, let's start out with the people who have donated over $100 in a lifetime, and that's Daniel D, Chuck, Tony S, Daniel B, and Hydrastorm. You guys have been great, you know, and of course, Hassani, you're up there. You know, Eric P, you're up there. Quince, you guys are definitely up there. Quince at the moment is my top supporter with $250 so far, so I really want to give you a shout out and a thank you for all of your generosity. Okay, next up, let's talk about the people who are $50 and up. That would be Kim S, Eric S, Fabio L, Phil W, Luna the Best Fox, my boy L Brian 42. Thank you for all the support. For those who don't know, this has been my boy from way back in the day. You know, it's great to see you still around, man. Daniel C, Andy A, Matt O, Arturo de la T, Cody, Justin H, and Mark R. I also want to give a shout out to one more person, a person who was generous enough to donate some music to the project, and that's Rasmus L. Yeah, I see you in there. I really appreciate your donation as well as your contributions. For the rest of my supporters, I want you to know I also appreciate you as well. I'm talking, I appreciate each and every one of my members, from the gold members to the black bag members, the blue bag members, the red bag members, and even you, my dollar coin members. See, people don't realize if I had 1,000 Patreon supporters and they were all dollar coin members, that's still $1,000 in donations a month, and that makes a huge difference in how quickly things get done. The more funds I get in, the more people I can afford to pay at once to get more done. The saying goes, you get what you pay for. So if I have more funds, that means I can afford to disperse more money in a month. That means I can afford to pay people more. And guess what? People tend to be motivated to produce a lot more, a lot faster, and a lot higher quality when you're paying them very good and they value their job. Trust me, I work in the financial industry. I promise you, that's the way things are in the real world. For those who don't know, a lot of the funds I'm getting now, I'm still spending money to get things spreaded, but I'm also recouping the losses that I've gained over the last year or so when I wasn't even working. I mean, so, again, funding is a big thing to this project. I didn't want to make it about money, but it definitely helps to make these go along faster. For those who don't know, I'm also working 2 jobs, so I don't have a lot of free time, but I still make it a point to put all of my free time into working on the project. So, in essence, I work 70-plus hour weeks. I'm not complaining because I enjoy what I do. You know, I enjoy having my own business. I enjoy the industry I work in, and I absolutely enjoy putting my free time towards this project and creating these videos and creating all these updates for you guys to see, and just knowing that you guys are salivating at the mouth, or hopefully salivating at the mouth, as you stare at your screen and see the newest sprites, you know, the newest, me discussing the newest physics, engine control, plans, concept info, etc., etc. Now, for those of you who are on YouTube or who came from the forums or the Facebook group and are seeing and the link to my Patreon page, go join my Patreon ASAP if you want to get your questions answered. I say this in particular towards the YouTube members because I see a lot of people asking me questions, and I've said it for months. This will be the last time I'll say it. I do not answer questions on YouTube. It's a 1 in a million chance. If I see an idea you really have or a really, really good point, you may get an answer, but out of 200 comments, that you might be talking to people. I mean, so part of the benefit of being a Patreon member is you do get exclusive rights to go ahead and ask questions. Even if you're just even if you're just a blue bag member, you have the right to ask one question about the project a month. You know, feel free to join up and do that. You know, the reason I say this is not because I want to make it all about money. It's because I can't answer 200 questions in a month on YouTube and then 50 questions a month on the Facebook group and the forums. It's just impossible. So the Patreon supporters have to be my focus. If I spend all my time answering questions, well, nothing would get coded, nothing would get implemented. This would all be about just updates constantly, and well, nothing would get done here. And that's just not the reality of the way I want things to be. Anybody who's one of my Patreon supporters will also tell you I'm pretty generous. I've had a few black bag members, blue bag members ask me questions, and they've done more than one question, more than one suggestion a month, and I've said, okay, whatever. I've still taken it. I still answer them because, again, you guys are the ones making this a reality. I set the rules so I can bend them whenever the hell I feel like it. And the same thing goes for my Facebook group people and my people on the forums. I'm not trying to neglect you guys, but again, I designed these groups because I knew it was a place for not only for the project to get more exposure, but then Castlevania fans could communicate directly with one another. Maybe there might be some of you who look at this project and decide you want to create your own type of Castlevania project or remake or tool or what have you. And this is how these things are conceptualized, is people, like-minded, intelligent, talented people conversing with one another, sharing their interests, and the next thing you know, it develops into something greater. And I would love to see other projects out there besides my own that would just proliferate and show the major AAA studios out there that, hey, there's still a lot of hope for 2D platformers in this particular genre, or in this particular industry, I should say. And indefinitely, it would be great to see people creating other Castlevania types of games out there. Just have the depth of not only being just 2D platformers, but have a rich history, you know, interesting enemies, lots of nice systems in it that expand on the gameplay and make you want to play it again, and just overall are an enjoyable and challenging experience. I mean, I remember picking up Castlevania 3 for the first time. I remember picking up Rondo of Blood and especially Symphony of the Night for the first time. And I would love to get that feeling again playing this type of game. It's not the same thing when you're playing an FPS or a 2D or any type of 2D fighters or anything like that. You just don't get the same thrill as you do from these type of games. So, with that, I'm done trailing on and on. TLDR, join my Patreon page, get your ideas noticed quicker, get your questions answered, You know, if you don't want to do that or if you can't afford it, that's fine. I understand. You know, go ahead and join the Facebook group or the forums. You know, that way you can communicate with other like-minded Castlevania fans on the forums. I do regularly put up threads asking for information on conceptual stuff, or I'll put help wanted ads. So if you're interested in working for me, you know, that's where you'd want to look. If you're interested in helping to create the first stage, at this point the graveyard is done, the chapel portion is done, we just need the town portion. Or if you want to be able to give ideas towards new stages that once I ask for them, again, this isn't something where you can make your own thread if you'd like, and let's say you want to put in a forest stage and you can put your ideas there, but until I create my own thread, I'm not really going to be looking through that for ideas, and that's something that's going to be far off. You know, YouTube people, hey, you know what? I know YouTube is one of the most popular platforms on the planet, so if you want to stick to that, it's your business. But again, if you want to get the best exposure, if you want to be able to get your questions answered ASAP, if you really want to get focused on, become a Patreon supporter. You know, even if you're a $1 coin member, I'll appreciate it, and you're also helping to make this project a reality, and you're making it so that development goes much faster, not to mention the quality standards go up as more funding goes in. My goal now is not to hit so much 100 patrons, as at that point I'd probably be up to about 1,500 to 2,000 donations a month, but even $1,000 of donations I think would be more than enough, and we're already more than halfway there. So guys, tell all your other Castlevania fans, tell people about it. But regardless of all that, even if I was still at 50 Patreon supporters 6 months from now, I still want to thank each and every one of you who've been generous enough to contribute to me. You have no idea how much of a change this has made in the project, how much more development is going on. It's just made things so much smoother. As I said, I'm an adult who has to pay bills, so being able to do this is a great feeling, knowing I now have all this money I can spend towards creating new projects, or implementing new sprites within the project, putting in new things, etc., etc. On that note, in the next couple of days, I'm probably going to show off a couple of more sprites I just recently had done, and these are the launcher sprites when enemies popped up into the air. Last week I showed the ones where they're knocked back, so really looking forward to showing that off. Keep your eyes on my Patreon page for all the updates in the future. Thanks again, people. You guys have all been extraordinarily amazing, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.